I'll move on to another one that shocked me then. I think this is the most shocking transfer of the window. James Rodriguez to Everton.
Yeah. Definitely.
But
then also at the same time, it isn't so shocking, is it? Like, we know Carlo Ancelotti really likes him. He liked him when he was at Madrid. And then when he was at Napoli, it was no secret that he wanted to bring him to Napoli. And so when he went to Everton and this kind of came out, it was like, oh my God, like Everton want him. But then if you look further, it's actually Carlo Ancelotti wants him, which makes a lot more sense. And from the couple of games we've already seen, it looks like a worldie of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's been some turnaround, hasn't it, since that? I remember that miserable 1-0 Spurs defeat at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium back in July. I don't know if you guys remember that, where Everton were just shameful, really, and Gary Neville was absolutely hammering them in commentary.
It was my least favourite game of the season, I think, from both sides.
Yeah, I looked actually at their midfield that day this morning, and it was Alex Iwobi, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Tom Davis, and Gomez. And I thought to myself,
still have all those,
the upgrades. The upgrades, though, in 3 of those 4 positions is really frightening, and they've done a fantastic piece of business, really, bringing 3 central midfielders in for as little as they did. Because if you actually look into the James Rodriguez deal, they didn't pay a transfer fee. Mental. It's for £0.
How?
Which is just absolutely mental, given that he's 29. I'd say his sort of market value is upwards of 30 million quid, isn't it? And people will say, there was a fee, but it's actually been confirmed by his old club, Bamfield, who would have got a percentage of any future fee, that there was no money coming to them. So it seems like they've got him for £0. Obviously, his wages will be fairly hefty, but don't seem to have broken the books either. Like you said, I think Carlo Ancelotti is the main draw to the club, as he probably was for Alan as well. But, arriving on Goodison Park is James Rodriguez, who is nothing short of a world superstar in football. Let's have it right, especially in South America, in countries like Colombia. I'd imagine that Everton have a fairly decent support in Colombia already from Jerry Mina being there. But with James Rodriguez arriving at the club, it will take it to the next level. I read an Athletic report yesterday about this move, saying that they had 400 million social media interactions in 24 hours. Wow. When he joined. I remember seeing the photos of James Rodriguez on a billboard in Times Square, in like Bogota.
Miami.
This is a big move for Everton, absolutely a monster move. And let's have it right, he has started the season, like you said there, Jalab, in hot form, hasn't he? Against Tottenham Hotspur, I thought he looked superb.
Yeah. And
I think Hamill brought it up on maybe Winners and Losers, or it might have just been on his Twitter, about his defensive work rate.
What an exciting summer they've had, bringing in Alan, Decore, James Rodriguez, of all people. And he was absolutely excellent, the latter, on his debut, creating 5 chances, the most by any player on their Premier League debut since Alexis Sanchez, by the way. And not only that, people questioned whether he would have the work rate to succeed in the Premier League. They were saying that Seamus Coleman, very early on, is going to have to do an awful lot of defensive work down that flank, but proved the doubt was wrong here in this match with a massive 5 tackles and interceptions. He also completed 2 dribbles and fired off 3 shots, leading many people early doors to label him the signing of the summer so far. He could be talismanic for them, right? And if we're talking about one player making a sizable difference, Doogie, do we think that he could really move Everton up the table?
Absolutely. I mean, you could see just on the whole way the team sort of progressed the ball. It was all going through James, despite the fact he was stationed out on the right, which I don't think is his best position. And we were talking about this off camera, but actually his wages, we've also read, are reported under £80,000 per week, which is an absolute snip. Obviously, we need to get that verified, but that's just what we're hearing at the moment. So James Rodriguez could make a massive difference to Everton, and what a start for him.
Yeah, for sure. We don't know about bonuses, etc., but his basic was around 140 at Real, so he's obviously taken a pay cut to link up with Ancelotti, who was, of course, at Real Madrid the last time Rodriguez really starred in a single campaign. I think he won La Liga Midfielder of the Year that year, so let's hope he can recreate some of that form.
So he still got it, man. He still got it going forward. And at the weekend, he was so good against West Brom. Yeah. So good before he was hauled off at 78 minutes. I think in the first half, there were a few issues on that right-hand side. I was raising him in the Football Daily WhatsApp. I was saying this is a recipe for disaster against a good team, having 2 very attacking players in Coleman and in James exposed on that right-hand side. Because in transition, when West Brom got the ball and counter-attacked, they looked shaky in my opinion, and obviously went 1-0 down. Great goal from Diangana, and I think after the match, Ancelotti was like, we didn't get it right at all tactically in the first half. The right-hand side was exposed on the transition, and I think that's probably something he is going to have to look to address, whether or not Doucouré has to do a little bit more defensive work on the right-hand side of that midfield. I'm not too sure, but overall, what Rodriguez has done is he's raised the spirits of Everton so much that it now feels like a fresh start. When towards the back end of last season, it was like, Christ, Everton, they are in a mess. And if you're Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front, you're on cloud 9, aren't you? He scored a hat-trick at the weekend, of course, against West Brom. He's got James Rodriguez serving him 5 key passes a game. Richarlison the same as well. If Richarlison could finish his dinner, they'd be smashing teams. I think they put up 4 expected goals against West Brom. It's probably the best in about 20 years for Everton in terms of expected goals. So I just think this move is so much fun. And if he can get anywhere near sort of, that output that he produced under Carlo at Bayern, we're in for a treat. And Everton fans should be absolutely buzzing about this one, right?
I think they should. The issue I have for Everton, I think defensively they're still a bit suspect. I think when Kieran Gibbs got sent off, it kind of allowed them to be attacking a lot more, because when he was on, as you said, they were causing a lot of issues down that right for them. He's also, James-wise, he's also started a really good relationship with Digne. Anytime he gets the ball, he's looking for Digne every single time.
Crossfield balls.
Yeah, crossfield balls. He loves the crossfield ball, James, to Digne. And obviously, Digne, we know he has quality. Some of the balls he delivers is unbelievable. Think of the one against Tottenham. A fantastic cross into the box. And so, you're right. There's also just that star quality at Everton now that they didn't necessarily have maybe beforehand. They always had good players, but not necessarily players that were kind of, if they need something in the game to get them out of a rut, or they need someone to score for a 1-0 win or something. James is kind of that guy. It was a great finish against West Brom he got, and he looks class. My only worry for Everton is defensively. I'm not sure Seamus Coleman is that great at the moment, especially if he is having to do a lot more defending. If James isn't necessarily tracking back all the time with his pace, and I'm always questioning about Pickford as well. It can't help if you're the defence, if you're worried that if someone's going to have a 30-yard shot, it might go in. Sometimes I literally have no idea what Pickford is doing. I think at times he can be a class keeper, but there's the odd occasion he'll like, with a free kick, it was almost as if he pulled his arm back, and so that's my only issue for Everton on that side, is maybe a bit more defensively. I know Mason Holgate as well is currently injured, and he was kind of their starter before the season anyway. So there is definitely improvements on that side, but in an attacking sense, they're unbelievable at the moment.